Lila's legs were burning. She was climbing the stairs to the 5th floor. There was no elevator. She was holding a folder of documents, so tightly that her knuckles were white. She checked her watch. 1:58 p.m. The open house started at 2 p.m. She thought she was early. She thought she would be the first one. But when she reached the top floor, her heart sank. There was already a line. 10 people were standing in the hallway. They all looked taller, richer, and more confident than her. One man was wearing an expensive suit and talking loudly on his phone. Lila wanted to turn around. She wanted to run back down the stairs. But she needed a home. She couldn't live in a hotel forever. A real estate agent with a shiny smile opened the door. "Okay, everyone. Come on in," he shouted. The crowd pushed forward. Lila was shoved against the wall. It was a race. And she was already losing. But before we find out if Lila gets the apartment. Hello, English learners. Welcome back to the channel. I am your teacher, and I am so glad you are here. In the last episode, we helped Lila open a bank account. Today, she faces an even bigger challenge, finding a place to live. In this episode, you will learn English by listening to the story of Lila hunting for an apartment in the big city. We will talk about viewing apartments, dealing with landlords, and signing contracts. To help you understand the story, we are going to focus on 3 specific power words that are essential for renting: tenant, lease, and amenities. Are you ready to find a home? Let's climb the stairs. For the last 3 days, Lila had been obsessed with her phone. She wasn't looking at Instagram. She was looking at a rental app called City Homes. Finding an apartment was harder than she expected. The photos online were beautiful, but the reality was often disappointing. Yesterday, she visited a studio apartment. The advertisement said it was cozy. But when Lila arrived, cozy actually meant tiny. It was the size of a showbox. The shower was in the kitchen. The window looked at a brick wall. And the rent was astronomical. Let me explain that word. Astronomical. It usually relates to space and stars. But when we talk about prices, astronomical means extremely high. The rent was too expensive for such a bad room. Lila was feeling discouraged. But then, she saw a new listing. Right, 1-bedroom apartment. Top floor. Brick walls. Near the park. The price was reasonable. It seemed perfect. Too perfect. Lila called the number immediately. A man answered. His name was Brad. "Yeah, we're showing it tomorrow at 2 p.m., Brad said fast. "It's an open house. First come, first served. Bring your paperwork." An open house is an event where anyone can visit the apartment at a specific time without an appointment. It creates competition. First come, first served means the first person to arrive or apply gets the prize. Lila prepared like a soldier going to war. She remembered her lesson from the bank: documents are power. She printed her bank statements. She made copies of her passport. She printed her employment letter. She put everything in a neat blue folder. She arrived at the building at 1:58 p.m. As we heard, there was already a crowd. The agent, Brad, opened the door. He was wearing a sharp blue suit and pointed shoes. "Welcome, everyone," Brad said. "Look around. Don't touch the walls. Shoes off, please." Lila took off her shoes and walked inside. The apartment was beautiful. The floor was made of old, polished wood. Sunlight streamed in through 2 large windows. The kitchen had a real stove. It smelled like fresh paint and possibility. Lila fell in love instantly. She imagined her plants near the window. She imagined drinking coffee in the kitchen. But then, she heard a loud voice. It was the man in the expensive suit. Let's call him Mr. Suit. Mr. Suit was walking around the apartment like he already owned it. He tapped the walls. He opened the cupboards loudly. Bang. Bang. He walked up to Brad, the agent. I like it, Mr. Suit said loudly. It's small, but it works for my storage. I'll take it. Lila's heart stopped. She was too late. Great, Brad said. Do you have your application packet ready? We need to run a credit check and approve you as a tenant. Lila listened closely. A tenant is a person who rents a property. Brad needed to know if Mr. Suit would be a good tenant. Mr. Suit laughed. I don't have paperwork with me. I'm busy. But look. He pulled out a thick wallet. I can give you 3 months of rent in cash. Right now. Up front. Let's just sign the lease. Brad looked at the cash. He hesitated. Real estate agents love money. Well, Brad said. Cash is nice. But I really need to see proof of income. It's company policy. Come on, Mr. Suit said, waving the money. I earn more in a week than this place costs in a year. Just email me the form later. Lila realized this was her only chance. Mr. Suit was arrogant. He thought money was enough. But Lila knew that in this country, bureaucracy ruled everything. She stepped forward. She felt small next to Mr. Suit, but she held her blue folder high. Excuse me, Lila said clearly. Brad and Mr. Suit turned to look at her. I am interested in the apartment, Lila said. Her voice shook a little, but she continued. I love the space. And I have my full application packet ready right now. She opened the blue folder. Here is my bank statement showing I have the funds. Here is my letter of employment verifying my salary. Here is a copy of my passport and visa. And here is a check for the deposit. Brad looked at Mr. Suit, who was just holding cash. Then he looked at Lila's organized, perfect folder. Brad's eyes lit up. He saw something he liked, less work. If he chose Mr. Suit, he would have to chase him for emails and documents. If he chose Lila, his job was finished in 5 minutes. Wow, Brad said, taking the folder. This is very organized. I am a very quiet and organized tenant, Lila added with a smile. I don't smoke. I don't have pets. Mr. Suit scoffed. I have cash, he repeated. Brad looked at the two of them. He looked at the cash. He looked at the folder. 1 second, Brad said. Let me check these amenities. Lila has played her cards perfectly. While Brad decides who gets the apartment, let's pause and look at the power words that are key to this situation. Word number 1, tenant. This is the person who rents the apartment. The owner is the landlord. You are the tenant. Example sentence. The landlord was happy because the tenant always paid the rent on time. Word number 2, lease. This is the legal contract between the landlord and the tenant. It lists the rules, the price, and how long you will stay, usually 1 year. You must sign the lease before you move in. Example sentence. I signed a 1-year lease for my new apartment. Word number 3, amenities. These are the useful or desirable features of a building or place. They are the extras that make life nice. Examples include a dishwasher, a gym, a doorman, or laundry in the building. Example sentence. The rent is high, but the building has amazing amenities like a swimming pool and a roof deck. Okay. Lila knows what a tenant is. She wants to sign the lease, and she loves the amenities, like the sunlight. Let's see who Brad chooses. Brad flipped through Lila's folder. He looked at the bank letter. He looked at the employment letter. He nodded his head. This is perfect, Brad said. He turned to Mr. Suit. Sir, I appreciate the offer. But I legally cannot rent to you without a background check and paper documentation. My boss would fire me. Mr. Suit's face turned red. This is ridiculous, he shouted. He put his cash back in his pocket and stormed out of the apartment. Stomp. 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 The room was quiet. The other people in the hallway saw that the apartment was gone, and they started to leave. Brad smiled at Lila. You came prepared. I like that. The landlord likes that. Does that mean? Lila asked. If your credit check passes, and with these documents, I'm sure it will, the place is yours, Brad said. He pulled a document out of his bag. This is a draft of the lease, Brad said. Read it over. It's a standard 12-month agreement. Rent is due on the 1st of the month. Lila took the paper. Her hands were trembling, but this time, it was from excitement. She looked around the empty apartment. The sun was hitting the wooden floor. It was warm. It was quiet. Thank you, Brad, Lila said. Don't thank me, Brad said, checking his watch. Thank your printer. You saved me an hour of work. 2 days later, Lila met Brad again. She signed the papers. Brad handed her a small set of silver keys. Welcome home, he said. Lila walked up the 5 flights of stairs. It was tiring, but she didn't mind. She unlocked the door to her apartment. She had no furniture yet. She sat on the floor in the middle of the empty room. She ate a sandwich she bought from the deli. It was the best sandwich she had ever tasted. She realized that in a big, chaotic city, having a key to your own door is the most important thing in the world. She wasn't just a visitor anymore. She was a tenant. She had a home. Lila learned that sometimes, money isn't enough. In professional situations, being organized and respectful is a superpower. By preparing her folder, she beat the rich man in the suit. The moral of the story is this: opportunity favors the prepared. When you are ready, you win. Now, I have a question for you about where you live. Do you prefer living in a house or an apartment? And what is the most important amenity for you? Is it a balcony? A big kitchen? Good internet? Tell me your dream home features in the comments below. If you want to keep building your life in English, please click subscribe and listen to the next episode. Lila has an empty apartment, so next time, we are going to learn about furniture and utilities, how to turn a house into a home. Thank you for listening. Be a good tenant, read your lease, and I'll see you in the next story.